Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the S&P Sports Show. I'm your host, Sean Stewart. On this one more day. Well, tomorrow will be the last day of May. May 30th, 2023. We have a very terrific show for you. So we have the NBA and NHL playoffs set in June. The spelling bee, that's today. And also, and then I found out today it will be a new ESPN 30 for 30. So this one will be about the TV show American Gladiators, the show from the 80s. I'm looking forward for that. So at least I have something to watch.
Well, I'm going to say this. Will the Indian domination continue in the spelling bee?
That's a very great question.
I mean, I am sure that they have been the dominant leaders for, a while now. So, I mean, at this point, the money's got to be on them. Question is how many of them will get to the finals or near the finals, and then from there, I mean, put it like this: if it's like 7 of the last 9 kids are Indian, it's probably a pretty good chance that it's gonna happen.
Exactly, and the great thing is this year I can finally watch it now that I have YouTube TV. So I got Ion, so I will be able to watch it. Thank goodness, because I do not want to miss it like I did last year.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't help that it was on
Ion.
Exactly.
Right.
It didn't help that it was on Ion. I mean, it's pretty tough.
Right.
To figure that out. I mean, it used to be on ESPN.
Right. And by the way, Scripps does own Ion, so just in case people didn't know that.
There we go. That's probably a good reason.
Right, because Scripps been making some great moves lately so far. They've been making some moves, especially with their sports department. Now that the regional sports network empire is crumbling, as we know it.
So I mean, at this point, it's like, what's going to end up happening with the spelling bee? That's the biggest need here, I think, is what is going to happen? Are we going to see Indian domination? That's the biggest thing. I'm not too concerned about the channels. I still wish it was on ESPN, because I'm not going to lie to you. I watched the Ion thing last year.
It just wasn't the same.
Impressed. I really, really wasn't impressed. So, I mean, at this point, I don't know what to say. Other than I think they have an opportunity to do better than they did last year with last year's presentation, if we want to say, of the television. Now, will it happen? I don't know.
Right. So while you was talking, I was looking at the box score for last night's game, and I gotta say, if you look at Boston's boxing score, it is so god awful. And when I say god awful, it was very god awful. I mean, they could even had an easy shot. And I gotta give the credit to Miami, because I would have never thought Miami would win Game 7. You know what I mean? Because they could have won Game 6 if it wasn't for Derek White with that tip off. I could easily do that as well. Anybody would, to be exact. But the way Miami handled that game last night, they really won that so much. I never thought they would, because Boston was favored by 7, and then in the second half, Boston was favored by 3.5. a plus 3.5, like an underdog. So if you have Miami before the game started, congratulations, you won a lot of money on this game. And I could have won $60 last night, but I ended up with 10. So at least I'm happy with that. And I got to give credit to Khalid Martin because he played a hell of a game last night, especially in this series.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Miami could have just folded it in and let, the dogs just hit them in the end and let history and, happen and more. But, they came through in game 7. So, I mean, it is what it is. But you know what? Jason Tatum said he got hurt like in the first possession of the game. Who knows if he
I saw
did?
that.
I don't know. But, it is what it is. And the Heat have advanced to the finals. And they're going to face the Nuggets. And obviously the Heat are going to be underdogs going into the final. I think I saw the line was at minus 360, the last that I saw.
Okay, because I saw this morning Denver's like an 8.5 favorite. And now the other question is how well the TV ratings will be. To me personally, I think the TV ratings is going to suck this year. I really do.
I mean, the Nuggets should win this all. They should. They're the best. You know what? I guess you can say that, they were the best team in the, in the regular season. And they do that metrics every year, right?
Right.
Where they they were the best team in the East, not the best team in the West. But they weren't the best team overall, right?
Right.
But I think the Western Conference is a little bit tougher than the Eastern.
Oh, no question about it. It's not even close.
So, they were the top seed in the East. So, at this point, I think you got the best player in the league. Yeah, I'm going to say it because Joel Embiid is not that guy. And then you got the Heat, Jimmy Butler just playing out his damn mind. So, if Miami can shoot the three and Duncan Robinson and all them and Jimmy Butler, but it's going to be a little bit different because now you've got to deal with the inside game here. And, Miami, in a way, has been able to avoid a dominant big up until this point. Now you got to go up against a team with a dominant big man. So,
and possibly can win the NBA Finals MVP
as well. You're looking at a lot of factors here. And I don't know how that's going to all play itself out yet.
Right. But I know the TV ratings is not going to be that good.
So, it's crazy. It's absolute.
Right. And the crazy thing about last night was both of those series ended up like, oh, okay, game was over, so we can head on to the NBA and the Stanley Cup. So time will tell with that series.
Well, Florida's got 2 teams. Where the Panthers play is about an hour away from Miami. So, technically, I guess you could almost say they've got 2 teams in the Stanley Cup, because I would consider Miami to be their base.
Right.
So imagine if they won the Cup and the Finals
at the same year. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
That was very terrific. I mean, Pittsburgh did it when they had the Pirates and the Steelers at the same year. Where they won the championship in '79. People tend to forget about that year, but it's great to see a city that does it like that. You rarely see a team like that, or like well, I can't count New England. I can't count Boston.
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know what to say. Can 2 8 seeds win the title? Because Florida's an 8 seed. Miami's an 8 seed. I mean, think about that. 2 8 seeds in the same thing, winning 2 separate ships.
That's very rare to hear in the NHL Stanley Cup. And this year is on TNT, by the way.
I mean, the NHL definitely needs that ratings bonanza. Will that TNT bonanza help? I'm not sure. Right. But it'll be interesting to find out.
Right. At least you got a known broadcaster. At least you got Kenny Albert doing it.
I mean, I don't know if that really helps that much, to be honest with you. You know, I mean,
too bad I don't got hockey night in Canada. Shoot.
I mean, I think at this point, I think, you know, it's a matter of, you know, it's Miami and it's Vegas. I don't think the ratings are going to be all that high because neither of them are huge TV markets. Vegas is not a big TV, and there's just so much to do in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you're going to see a huge market, you know,
right,
in terms of TV ratings, or if it would have been like Boston and Colorado, I think, you know, in Denver, I think you could have seen, you know.
Oh, yeah, some ratings.
You know, what's going to end up happening.
Right. Well, John Taffer does live in Las Vegas, so because I did see him on Instagram about his Golden Knights. So this is the second time the Golden Knights is in the Stanley Cup playoffs, because the last time they went, it was their first season, inaugural season.
Yeah, this is the second time in their 6-year existence.
And they've been a dynasty.
Well, quick. I don't know if you want to say dynasty. It's just the NHL had very favorable expansion rules, you know?
I didn't know that.
And, you know, much more so than like the NFL. Think about it. How can you build a team and then they just go right to the finals? You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
I mean, think about it. I mean, would that happen in the NBA? You had an expansion team. Are they going to the NBA Finals their first season?
More likely, no.
Okay, NFL?
More likely, no.
Okay. So the NHL, you can say, has pretty favorable expansion rules. And Vegas benefited from those greatly. Seattle, you know, they got a decent team.
Right.
And, you know, the way I look at it is they probably need to adjust the expansion rules a little bit in the NHL.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure they're looking to expand, like, because remember we talked about last week about like the Coyotes, where they're gonna move at, and you said like Quebec City, Kansas City, What else did you say?
I mean, there's a
Houston?
lot of cities, and I already saw like in the NHL that they're going to keep the team in Arizona for another year, which is just stupid. Maybe
They're
it's
probably
too late
losing
to
money
make an
now.
expansion move this year, and you got to lame duck them one more year. But I mean, hockey is there's too much to do in Arizona. You have spring training baseball. You have a bunch
Right?
of old people playing golf. You
A lot of
know,
retirees.
a lot of retirees, a lot of Hispanics not really into hockey.
Right? You got
You
a
know,
historical. You got a historical national park.
you know.
It seems like in the West Coast, it seems like you have a lot to do than here in the
Well, the
Midwest.
weather is warmer. You know, just like
Exactly.
in Florida. That's why baseball doesn't succeed in Florida.
Right? Because there's a
You
lot of
got
stuff to do.
three.
Plus, it's warm weather.
You've got three. You've got spring training. Okay. And then there's
Right?
too much to do in Miami. Okay. Miami does not
Right?
deserve a baseball team. There's just too much to do in the summer, warmer
Right?
weather. And plus, you have so many transplants there that are all Yankees fans and Red Sox fans. And, you know,
They're
there's
like
too
different
many
fans.
transplants. Too many damn transplants. So, you know, it just doesn't work out.
Right?
So personally, I think when the Rays stadium lease is up, they need to move to a town with like Nashville
I heard
or
about that. Nashville's trying
you
to look for an
know,
MLB team, or
you
Charlotte,
know, Nashville is definitely one place to consider, I think.
because they'll support anything.
Someplace with a bigger TV market.
Let's see, I don't know if baseball wants to expand in Canada again like they did because they used to have two baseball teams, the Expos and the Blue Jays. I don't know if they want to put another team in Canada. And plus, I heard Montreal's expensive
Well,
from
they can
what I
always
heard.
go to Quebec, and Quebec will have a sellout. Because they packed the stadium for Quebec Remparts games. So I'm sure you can pack them for an NHL game. I'm positive of it.
Mm-hmm. I do miss the Montreal Expos. I do miss them, especially with them colors. Wish
So
I bought one right now.
I mean, if it was me, I would just move them to Canada because you're guaranteed, and then you can go ahead and put the two expansion teams in Canada and in the United States. Because then you'll get more money for the expansion teams then. Because I don't think you'd get as much money for an expansion team in Canada.
I did not know that.
You know, because the market's probably not as big, you know, TV wise. But if you
Okay,
put them like in Nashville, and that's a pretty growing market, you know, and then, you know, someplace else, I think you'd get more money with American expansion teams than you would a Canadian one.
gotcha. That makes a lot more sense.
That's why I'm saying move it to Canada, appease the fans in Canada, and you get rid of a headache with Arizona. And then you can award expansion teams for NHL at least, the Kansas City and Houston. Boom. And then for MLB, you know, you can award one team to like Nashville, and then, you know, you can award another team to like Portland or, you know, Charlotte. Now, you would probably kill the
I
Carolina
did say
League
that earlier, Charlotte.
if you put one in Charlotte. So I don't think that's going to happen. You can put one in Nashville because they got the Nashville Sounds, but that's about it. That's why I think Nashville's a more logical expansion team.
Right.
I mean, is Portland big enough? It might be. I've seen renderings of a stadium. Hey, I've seen renderings of a stadium in Orlando for the Orlando Dreamers. I don't know about that. I've seen Salt Lake City with stadium renderings
Okay.
recently. So I mean,
I did not know that until now.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. So, I mean, I think it's interesting, and we'll see what happens. I think, but if I was the,
Right. And
I'd
then,
put a team in Nashville. I put a team in Nashville, and then the other team for MLB. I don't know. Could go to Portland. You could do a traveling team, Puerto Rico. I just don't think Charlotte should kill baseball in Charlotte. I think Portland is a more logical spot, unless the A's leave and Oakland decides to finally pony up for a stadium. But I think sports in Oakland is dead.
Dead. Because that's like the only team in the A.
I don't think you'll see baseball back in Oakland. I don't know if the economics can survive.
Because I think that's the only team in Oakland, the A's, because the Warriors moved back to San Francisco and the Raiders moved to Las Vegas. So the A's will probably be like the last team in professional team in Oakland. Everything else will be in San Francisco.
I mean, well, yeah, no, technically, I guess you could technically say the Golden State Warriors moved to move to San Francisco.
Right. Even though it's part of the Bay Area still. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you could say that. I mean,
poor old Oakland. Huh. I wonder who they're gonna root for now, since all their teams will more likely be non-existent in Oakland. Unless they get like a USFL football team or something like that, like the Oakland Invaders or something like that.
I mean, you could. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's just, it's hard to say what's going to end up happening with this whole expansion, thing. But I mean,
we'll see about that.
We're going to see eventually. Exactly. Time will tell.
And then I did hear this past weekend, and this weekend that DeAndre Hopkins has been cut by the Cardinals. So it looks to me that the Cardinals will more likely be tanking this upcoming season, because I can't think of no
the Cardinals are going to suck this season
other than them and the Bears.
The Cardinals are going to suck. Let's just go ahead and say it. They are going to suck.
Right now.
And that's probably why they ended up
sucker even more.
That's probably why they ended up trading with the Texans. Because they got the Texans' first-round pick next year in the draft, and they know they're going to suck. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals try to trade Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Because that ownership is kind of deep.
I mean, time will tell, but just saying,
Right.
time will definitely tell.
And I think I looked it up, and I heard that the Chiefs are like the front runners to get DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, it's got to be somebody who also has salary cap space. So the Chiefs only have like $1 million in cap space, so they would have to create some cap. Buffalo would have to create some cap. The Ravens may have to create just a little bit of cap space.
How about New England?
I don't see that happening because Hopkins wants to go to a team with a good quarterback and some defense.
I think he did say Buffalo, but I don't know if he's going to handle the cold weather.
That's why I'm thinking Kansas City or Dallas. That is my guess. My guess, because Dallas is a little weak at wide receiver,
Yeah.
And besides CeeDee Lamb, they're a little thin. I mean, if they move some things around, I'm sure they could fit in Hopkins on a 1-year deal. Texas has no state taxes, so that's a definite benefit.
That's a bonus.
So, and he might be willing to take a little bit less because of that and the fact that he's a Cowboy. He would have Dak Prescott. He'd have CeeDee Lamb with him, right? And then they got a slew of other receivers, which are pretty decent. You got Michael Gallup, and you got the other guy. You got Tony Pollard at running back. You got a decent O-line, and they have a pretty damn good defense.
Right.
They just got to be able to figure out how to stop the run and stop the Eagles, and figure out how they're going to be able to match up against the more physical teams a little more.
Exactly.
So, I think it's a good question of, what's going to end up some people said, well, the Lions are going to make a play, and they've done their homework, but I don't see him going to Detroit. I
can't imagine him wearing a Lions uniform. Like, it'll look weird.
At least not right now. I just don't see it because of the fact that I think the Lions are lacking a little on defense, where if he came and joined the Lions, they'd be pretty set. But I don't know if the Lions are quite ready yet in their movement to do it. Not that they couldn't do a 1-year deal with him. I mean,
but the defense need to be improved.
I just don't know. I just don't know, to be honest with you.
Right. And it's not even June yet. That's the funny thing about this. And we're still talking about NFL football.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy to think about it and what's going to end up happening. And time will tell. In the end, my guess is Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, Dallas. Probably one of those 4. I don't know what order. I mean, right now, if I was to guess right now, I'd say Baltimore or Dallas is my guess.
Oh, yeah. Baltimore definitely needs some wide receivers.
They got Odell, but you know what? When he's plays a game, when he plays his first game, that'll be like his first game in like 19 months since the Super Bowl.
Right.
Where he got hurt.
Because he was injured the rest of the season.
I mean, 31 years old, or will be at some point soon. I mean,
right.
The way I look at it is I don't think he's going to be the ball hawk that he once was. Do I think he's capable of 70, 80 catches? Maybe, but I don't think he's going to be that big downfield dynamic wide receiver. But I think, I think he's more of that guy that, is like 1,000-yard guy with 6 to 8 touchdowns and 1,000 yards.
I know what you mean by that. And it'll be very interesting to see how Odell Beckham on the player props. That's the most interesting part. That's what I want to see. So I looked at Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. I don't know if Anthony heard that one. Oh, that's my phone. Hello? I think we may have lost them. Huh. I think we may have lost some connection over here. Because I can hear myself. I know that for sure. Oh, yep, we did lose him. He'll probably be right back as we know it. So in a couple of minutes, while we're waiting for him to come back. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there we go. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Now, I was saying was like, yeah, I can hear you. So I was saying about the Jimmy Garoppolo's contract.
Well, I wanted to finish on D-Hop real quick. Then we can get into
Good.
So, the more I'm thinking about it, D-Hop's going to be 31 years old. How much spring is left in that step? He's not able to finish full seasons, it seems. He didn't play the last 2 weeks of the season. Allegedly, he was capable of, but who knows? He had a PED issue. 31. So you're going to have two 31-year-old receivers? The more I'm thinking about it, now I'm beginning to think, I'm thinking Dallas might be more of his spot, I'm thinking.
Hopefully that'll boost Dak Prescott's confidence.
Well, it's going to give him another weapon, so it would be like having CD and Amari again. And I'm going to say this, that I think the Browns won that trade last year. Because Amari did his thing last season.
Right.
And I think they could have gotten a lot more. I know his contract was like 20, but damn, any legit wide receiver is 20. So they gave him away for cheap. The Browns got some nice weapons. The problem with the Browns, though, is that defense. That defense just be giving up mad points, like no pass rush. The linebackers are kind of trash. And, just that Browns back seven is trash.
That's a great reason why I didn't see a lot of the Browns
season with Deshaun Watson, It should be legit.
Right. Even though he didn't fully did it, supposedly.
I mean, it should be that way. I don't know if it is, but it should be. Now, let's get to Jimmy Garoppolo. So
Yes, sir.
he signed a contract extension, but there's a waiver to it because of a previous foot injury. So he had foot surgery after he signed the contract, but there's a waiver in it that the Raiders can cut him before the start of the season and they won't owe him a dime. So I kind of find it kind of funny that Tom Brady signed a partnership agreement with the Raiders. So now the question is, what happens if Jimmy ain't ready to go? Does Tom Brady become the quarterback?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's a viable question to ask. I mean, I don't know if it will. I mean, my guess is that Jimmy will be over it by then, but I guess we'll see.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know.
Because they may be another bad team as well. The Raiders. They may be another bad team. The Raiders.
I just do not know at this point. You know,
because I talk to a lot. Go ahead.
Because I was gonna say that. I mean, if Jimmy G ain't there, then what do you got at quarterback? Not much. You don't have Jarrett Stidham. Got nobody. Aiden McDowell.
Exactly.
It's about what you got. I mean, man, I guess
that may be another bad team.
The other, real quick, I totally forgot this, but Shannon Sharp said that he wants the Lions to pursue D-Hop also. So
good luck with that. Oh yeah,
hey,
I got
if the Lions are able to pull that off,
oh, my God.
I will be impressed. I mean,
it's not going to be that easy.
No, nobody ever said it was, right?
But
I mean, hey, I'm just saying nobody ever said it that it was going to be easy, okay? I just think I don't know who's going to end up getting him.
Right. Hey, it's
not sure.
It's still early. You know what I mean? Oh, I did see something this past week, and it was so funny. I heard this Shannon Sharp and Kwame Brown beef. Oh my goodness, it is so funny. I laughed so hard. I have never seen anybody that roast Shannon Sharp like that since Shannon Sharp was a LeBron James fan. It's so I was laughing so hard, I almost couldn't even breathe.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was pretty funny. Man, it was definitely funny. Probably more funny than it even should have been. But
right, but the funny thing was you didn't expect it to be funny. But he was spitting facts though. And I was like, oh yeah, there's no way Shannon Sharp and Kwame Brown would be on Undisputed. It'd probably be a fight.
It probably would be a fight, but nonetheless,
before they even entered the studio,
hey, facts were shared, and that's what matters. Is facts were shared.
Exactly.
So at this point, it's like, okay, cool. So
yeah,
you know, what's next, or out of that I guess that is the question that needs to be asked.
Exactly. He said, "You ain't no sports analyst. You a fanboy." I
mean, that is that was pretty funny.
I was like, "Oh yeah, you definitely not gonna be on television, man." It'd be a fight before the parking lot.
He had a point. I mean, it was funny. There's no doubt that it was funny. Just too much comedic humor. Too much comedic humor involved. What can you say?
Yeah. So fans, if you're watching this, please watch it. And I swear to you, you will laugh your butt off. I played it when I was on the bus. The bus driver was laughing. Me and him were laughing so hard. It's just like I was like, yeah, they're not. Yeah, him and Shannon would not be on Undisputed. I'm like, they will be fighting before they even enter the studio, or they'll probably have to separate themselves.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. That is for sure. But it would be entertaining. That is for sure.
And then
entertaining,
what else happened?
No doubt. Speaking of entertaining, the Michigan Panthers played during the weekend.
Yes. And after 4-game losing streak, now it's a W.
Of course, it was on the road. 0-4 at home. 0-4 at home.
But can win on the road. That's weird.
But they're 3-4 on the road, and there's 7 games. There's 3 games left in the season. They're only a game behind in the loss column. So here's the thing, okay? You got 3 games left. I believe one, and I think they're all in the division, I think, or maybe not, but close enough.
Let me check.
Do they? They can win this division.
It's not that difficult.
They're only a game behind. The Stars are 1 game above them, right?
Okay. So yeah, they're 1 game above.
And the thing is this: they've already beat the Stars once.
Right, and that's their last game on June 18th at Ford Field.
They've got New Orleans, Pittsburgh, and then they've got Philadelphia at home to close the season.
Right.
Okay. Now they played Pittsburgh earlier in the season and got handled. Okay.
Right.
And they're playing the New Orleans Breakers, who are 4-3. That New Orleans team's not that bad in the league, right?
Right.
If they lose to New Orleans this week, okay.
Oh boy.
They would have to win their last 2 games.
2 games.
Because, here's the thing, right? So Philadelphia's got Birmingham this weekend, most likely a loss. Okay?
Right.
Then, they've got to play Houston. Now, wait, they got to play the Generals. That probably is going to be a win for Philly.
Right.
Right? So here's
their quarterback was injured.
So here's the thing. If the Stars lose this week but win next week, and then Michigan loses this week but wins next week, then Philadelphia and Michigan in the last week of the season would play for the division championship of the North. And if the
that would be very interesting.
And the Panthers would have to win because then they would finish with the same record, but they would have the tiebreaker because they will have beat the Stars twice.
Right.
Because only 4 teams are making it in. So the way you got to, and I think only the division winner gets in, and then after that, it's the next 2 best teams, I think. I'm not sure how they determine the tiebreakers
Do
in
their
the U.S.
playoff.
But that would be my guess. Would be
Right.
That is what I would say. USFL tiebreakers, head-to-head, best win-loss percentage in division games. So, so when those 2 teams played, if they're not in the same division, then it's going to be who won that game, right? So when you look at the standings, right, of the USFL, you got a bunch of 4-3 teams right now in the standings. So I'm looking here at the standings, and if the Stars finish 5-5, I only think 1 team is going to get in from the North. Put it like this: a Birmingham win this week, they're going to get into the playoffs.
Right.
Because they got 6 wins. Okay. And
exactly.
So, I mean,
that division is tough, though. That South is very tough.
If Birmingham beats Philadelphia this week, and they're in the playoffs because they already have a win over Michigan already.
Right. 27-13 in week 6.
So they would have the tiebreaker on any team in there, and then of the other 3 teams, I mean, if they win, they go to 6-2, right? And these other teams are a game behind, but they're going to play each other, and they're going to knock each other out. So it's like
exactly, because there's like 4 teams is 4-3.
I mean, I'm looking at this schedule. Memphis and Birmingham play each other last week, but Memphis plays New Orleans. That's 4-3, and they play the Generals. I mean, if I was the guess
The
right
Generals,
now,
they lost their quarterback due to an injury.
If I was the guess right now, if Michigan can beat the Stars in that, if Michigan can win, let's say Michigan loses this week and then they win the following week, I think they can beat the Stars in the last game of the season, right?
And win the next 2.
But I'm pretty sure you're going to see 3 teams from the South, probably Birmingham, and if I was to guess, probably Birmingham, Memphis, and and then I don't know right now. I mean, I would guess Birmingham, tough. Memphis, whoever wins the North, and
because New Orleans and Houston play each other in week 10. Because it's at Houston.
It's hard to say. I mean, if I was the guest right now, I mean, I would probably say Houston.
All right. Man, I would have never thought the season would be this interesting, especially when you can play actual stadiums. But it's way better than last year, I can tell you that.
I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just crazy out there in that aspect.
Right.
So,
But it wouldn't surprise me if the USFL expanded more teams, more cities. It wouldn't surprise me, but I hope they don't overexpand so they can learn from the mistakes from the original one, the original league.
now, from what I hear, the XFL is looking to expand, maybe by like 2 cities.
I wonder
I'm
where.
not sure if the USFL is ready to expand yet. I just
They're probably like taking it slow.
I don't know if they're ready yet. I don't know. I can see the XFL, but I think where the USFL is, I mean, they're not getting attendance. Like, I think the XFL picked some good cities out, like St. Louis,
Yeah, they did.
Portland,
Oh yeah, I heard St.
Seattle.
Louis. They got a lot of sold out tickets at St. Louis because St. Louis don't have an NFL football
Yeah,
team. So
I mean, picking some of those non-traditional football markets that didn't already have NFL. I mean, Seattle has an NFL team, right? So, but
right,
they picked markets that, they picked their demographics right too, because a lot of these markets have younger football fans. You know, where if
absolutely,
you have more older defined football fans, it's probably tougher to get those type of fans to come out to a XFL game than, because they're already kind of NFL ingrained.
exactly.
So
Or like they have a team in San Antonio,
exactly. So I
Orlando,
think it's a
vice
little
versa
bit.
and stuff.
I think it's a little bit harder to get some of those markets to, do their thing. Like, so you got to find some like non-traditional market that's going to have football that'll come out and support. With you got Portland, you got
Exactly.
Seattle, could do San Diego, something like that.
Right, because they don't have a football
Wise,
NFL.
East Coast wise, I think it's a little bit tougher because it's ingrained to a point. So,
Gotcha.
anyways, um, it's been one heck of a show today. Um, no house advantage. Are
One
they in
heck
the
of
house today?
Yes, they are, as a matter of fact. So, by the way, if you see the below on the screen, new users can sign up by using promo code S4A to get an instant match deposit up to $100. And actually, matter of fact, we actually had one person that actually did do a deposit. So, congratulations to that person. I actually do know that person like that as well. Okay, so for the first one, we have Mookie Betts with 0.5 singles, and he's going to face against the Nationals. That game's at 10-10.
Sure, why not?
All right. The next one is I'm looking at his name. His name is Lane Thomas. And according to him, I'm looking at his player props right now. Come on, phone. Don't act so stupid. They got him. No, we ain't gonna do fancy points because I'm looking at his right now. And they also got soccer, by the way. Rojas, I don't know if I'm saying his name. His name is Miguel Rojas. 1.5 hits, RBIs, and runs. I think that's kind of difficult.
1.5 hits, RBIs, and runs.
Yep.
Well, put it like this: you get a base hit,
Right.
and then you cross the plate, you win. 2 hits, 1 home run wins also, because that's a hit and an RBI and a run. Get a base hit and you drive them in, you win. I'll take the over.
Okay. Andrew McCutchen He's going to face against the San Francisco Giants. The same thing. Hits, RBIs, and runs.
1.5.
Yup, for Andrew McCutchen.
He's a little bit older.
Yeah, it's not the same player like he used to.
I'll take the over. Why not?
Okay. And for the pitchers for Atlanta and Oakland, they're actually 2-player props. So the first one is 2.5 for runs allowed in the first 3 innings. And for the 4.5 is runs allowed in the first 5 innings. So those are 2-player props if anybody wants to choose those two.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. That's for sure.
Right. I don't know about the 4.5 for the first 5 innings. It kind of seems too big.
I would probably take the under. I don't think it's gonna.
Okay.
I think there's gonna be more runs scored. So I'll take.
And
more
also,
off.
I found out. Okay. And I actually found out that No House Advantage, even though it's available in Michigan and Wisconsin, they actually do Korea baseball. I kid you not. They do Korea baseball. You would have to
Must
get up
be
like
a
5
big
in the
thing in
morning
Korea.
to watch it.
Must be a big thing in
I don't even
Korea.
know people even watch Korea baseball like that. Exactly. And you know what I think we should do? We should do soccer player props at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe for
Thursday's
show for the Manchester United, Manchester City FA Cup final. If you can find them, that would be the one to do.
Okay, because that means I'm going to have to separate the NBA player props and the soccer player props. I'm going to have to separate that. So more likely, the soccer player prop will be the first one, and then the NBA player prop will be the second one. Because it is about to be that. Matter of fact, it is about to be that time anyway for the soccer tournaments.
Yeah, well, we're ready. Well,
the Gold Cup is.
Gotta remember, Champions League is coming up in June 10th.
Okay, so at least there's something to watch. And also want to remind you that Cornelius Cole will be on the air tomorrow at 8. And if you don't have anything to watch on TV, like I said, it's the ESPN 30 for 30 of the American Gladiators. I'm going to have to record that. And also
the good old American
first
Gladiators.
day of the. Yes, not the revival one. God, that was a horrible one. And then the the 2023 Scripps National Spelling Bee. So since I have Ion, I'll be able to watch it.
The spelling bee started today. It started today.
Okay.
I believe they're done for the day.
Okay.
But it'll be televised. I think the first day. Yesterday they had it on. Today they had it on the internet, and now they're down to to the last 50 kids, and so that'll be on. And then I think it gets down to like the last 9 tonight, and then they do the last 9 tomorrow night. So
all right. So
they do so many rounds tomorrow. Tomorrow night they do so many rounds, and then I think tomorrow is all day, like in the afternoon, morning, afternoon, and then an evening session, and then they do the final 9 or something tomorrow night. So hold on. In fact, let's see here. I mean,
you're checking the schedule.
Let's see here. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm checking the schedule here to see where we're at. So the preliminaries are all day today till 6:30. Then the quarterfinals are in the morning tomorrow. Then the semifinals are tomorrow night. And then the finals are Thursday night.
Damn, so there's gonna be a lot of stuff I'm watching Thursday then.
Yeah,
Most likely
Thursday's
that
a
baby.
massive day.
Right. So once again, we will see you guys this Thursday. And of course, if there's a player props for soccer, I will be able to do that. I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing that, even though they do Premier League player props and stuff and other leagues and stuff. I'm pretty sure No House Advantage will have player props like that. So see you guys this
Crazy.
Thursday.
Yep, we'll see everybody Thursday right before the B.